have so much more to learn. Yes!
So I'm clearly nailing it at all of these things.
You're ignorant. How's that for the start of the video? I'm calling you ignorant. Well, the fact is that you are ignorant, and so am I. I'm ignorant. Everyone in the world is ignorant. This video is about She-Hulk. It's about ignorance. It's about expectation. It's about She-Hulk, the Marvel TV series. So let's talk about it.
If you want to go back to your life as a lawyer, I respect that.
He doesn't mean that.
Okay, when I say you're ignorant, I don't mean in the derogatory manner that most people take it for. Yes, ignorance, the word you're ignorant, or saying someone is ignorant, is usually bandied around to belittle someone. But the word ignorance, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is not having enough knowledge, understanding, or information about something. So we're working on that there. The fact is that we're all ignorant to something or another. Yeah, when we don't have enough understanding, knowledge of something, we're ignorant of it. You know, I'm ignorant of stuff. Of course I am. You know, that's the way it is. You know, basically, if someone's talking to me about something that they enjoy, a hobby, or you know, a film series that I've never seen, then I'm ignorant to that film series because I haven't seen that film series. I have no knowledge of that film series. Okay, so let's get that out of the way before people start ranting and raving. Yeah, and that's how I mean it. And ignorance and expectation are two things that went hand in hand with She-Hulk, with the Marvel TV series She-Hulk, and thusly we saw a lot of negative reviews, but people don't really know why they're negative about it. Now, obviously, She-Hulk has recently just finished on Disney Plus. It's 9-episode run. It was sold to us as a comedy series, a lawyer comedy show, and that's exactly what we got. However, a lot of people are ignorant to the character of Jen Walters, to the character of She-Hulk herself. So She-Hulk has been kicking around in the comic books since the early 1980s. She's a character that came into play, that was created by Stan Lee off of the back of the 1970s TV series. He felt the need to put a female Hulk into comic just in case the TV show wanted to do it and took the idea before he could do it. He had sort of fears of that, and thus was created the character of Jen Walters. Now, Jen Walters is a completely different character to Bruce Banner, and this is where the problem lies. Now, as we know, we've seen the Hulk effectively done throughout the MCU. You know, from that first appearance with Edward Norton, he was very good in that, to when he stopped that that big ship in the Avengers, when he punched it out of the sky. You know, the audience went wild, and this is what they like. They like this sort of rage machine, this rage monster, this angry version of the Hulk. And thusly, as the Hulk developed throughout the films, to the point where we got the smart Hulk in Avengers Endgame, people started to sway away from him. But they weren't too happy what had been done with the character of the Hulk, because they wanted the angry rage monster. Which I understand. There's a lot of fun that could be had with that. However, as a character, it doesn't work, because you have Bruce Banner, who is an interesting, compelling character, but what you want to see is this side of him. But there's no good stories to be told out of this side of him, because he is just a rage monster, a creature that is angry and just smashes stuff. You can't get much story out of that, but you can out of the Bruce Banner. But people don't want the Bruce Banner, they want that. So as soon as Smart Hulk came about, people didn't really like it. Also, with Smart Hulk came a sort of element of weakness, in a sense, in that he wasn't angry. He wasn't getting angry and smashing things. He could think things out and sort problems that way, and also utilise the strength that he has. So people watching the Marvel Universe started to get a bit upset about what had happened with the character of the Hulk at this stage. Then we get announced that we're getting a She-Hulk series. Now, She-Hulk, obviously, again, there's an element of people that are upset because, once again, we've got a character who is portrayed originally as male, and now you're introducing us to a female version of him. A woke version, because we're going female. You've done it with Thor. Thor's now become a female. We've got a female Thor. You've done it with Hawkeye. You've had Hawkeye, now we've got a female Hawkeye. And now you're doing it with She-Hulk. So, again, that gets people's backs up somewhat. And people are somewhat upset about it. However, what people went into She-Hulk expecting was that initial angry version. That She-Hulk was just a female replica of Bruce Banner. Exactly the same, a person who gets angry, but she's a woman and she smashes stuff. And that's what people wanted, because they wanted the Hulk. Their deep desires wanted the Hulk. They want that angry green Hulk back, and they're not getting it. So they went into She-Hulk, and they're presented with this story of this young woman who's a lawyer, who doesn't want these powers, who straight away was able to control these powers as well. That's the story of Jen Walters. That is pretty much what she is and what she does. Now, the ignorant side of things lies in the fact that, obviously, a lot of people don't read the comics. Yeah, they go in, they've watched the films, and they think that they're knowledgeable about the characters. They think they know it all. This happens all the time when someone watches a film. Someone will watch a historical film, and then all of a sudden they're a historical expert on those films, or on the true events of those films. And that's not the case, right? Because there is a lot of difference and a lot of things changed up. And the same happens in films. People think, I've watched all the Marvel films. Yeah, I know a little bit about them, so I know everything about these characters. But you don't. And that's what happened with She-Hulk, right? People went in with this expectation that they're going to be getting something that they didn't get, and they've gone in with this ignorance as well, because they got no idea what the comic is about or what the comic does. Now, I will say that She-Hulk isn't the greatest of Marvel projects. It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it, but I understand people's dismay with what was given to them. I do get that, because at the moment we're in this sort of downward spiral of Marvel. Nothing has reached the heights of phases 1, 2 and 3, and after that things have seen somewhat lackluster, directionless. I don't know whether this will come back in the future into play, and we will see where everything's heading, but at the moment it just seems like Marvel they're trying new things. Yeah, they're experimenting. Let's give them let's take our hats off and give them their due. They are experimenting with stuff, hence why we have got She-Hulk, hence why WandaVision was done the way it was in the first 3 episodes, with this sort of comedy tone and having a riff on old comedy shows, and that's sort of like sprinklings of She-Hulk and what She-Hulk actually gave us, of all-out comedy. So they were sort of testing the water with that. Now, like I said, experimentation. Werewolf by Night was experimental for Marvel. The thing is, if it completely fails, then they will, change direction, alter course as they see fit. She-Hulk itself, they knew going into She-Hulk that they were going to get a lot of trouble, a lot of hate, right, with what they'd done, especially with the fourth wall breaking stuff, to the extent that She-Hulk actually done it. In that final episode of She-Hulk, when she climbed through the Disney Plus boxes and this sort of thing, I was taken aback. I was quite aghast at how this final episode went, and I was quite shocked by it. Not in the sense that I didn't see where it was going or what it was doing, because the comics have certainly done her stepping through panels. They've had her going and meeting John Byrne, who was the writer-artist, the fella behind She-Hulk back in the 80s. And so it's very much comic to screen accurate. The stuff that she does on the screen is there in the older comics, and you're going back 30, 40 years when she was doing this stuff. She was breaking the fourth wall before Daredevil, before Rob Liefeld even was probably even born. He probably was born, but you get what I'm saying. Rob Liefeld's the creator of Daredevil, by the way. Not Daredevil, Deadpool, sorry, Deadpool. Did I say Daredevil? I don't know, I'm crazy. But anyway, you get what I'm saying, right? Now, yes, the fourth wall stuff in She-Hulk is overused. Some of it is cringy. It doesn't particularly land very well. The final episode is somewhat shocking and sort of so far removed that it just goes into this silly territory that I'm pretty sure that when you get another She-Hulk series or She-Hulk appears in film, it will be, especially if she appears in film like she's rumoured to do in Captain America, the Falcon one, the new film. It will be more akin to the film. I'm sure that this sort of stuff, this fourth wall breaking and all that, will be put to the background, won't be utilised, and she'll be a standard character within that, because that's the way they can go with it. But for me, yeah, I mean, She-Hulk, like I said, it was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it. At a time probably when I needed the show to be a lot of fun. Something somewhat different, but I think, like I said, people have gone in with this expectation that they were getting a female-centric Hulk show, much like maybe even the Hulk of old, that sort of a show with a woman in it, and then they get a lawyer-centric comedy and they don't like it, with these characters in it that are stupid and so far out there. I'm talking about the little characters that plopped up the background, the superheroes that appeared in it, which again, you read the comics, these are all in those comics, these sort of characters, these characters that you wouldn't even step on if they were on the floor, you'd step over them, So yeah, it's a, an enjoyable show, and I think it's unfortunate that people have gone in ridiculing it, knocking it for what it is, without actually having an understanding of what came historically in the comics with it. So the ignorance comes from that side of it, the not knowing. And like I said, am I ignorant of things? Of course I am, throw something out there. Detective Pikachu, right? I went into Detective Pikachu. I hated the film. I switched the film off. I didn't like it at all, not one bit. But I know nothing about Pokemon. I'm ignorant to Pokemon because I never grew. I was grown up when Pokemon came about. I think my kids liked it, so I didn't grow with it. I have got no understanding of what it is other than there's some games of it and there's some cards and this sort of thing. I know nothing about it, so that's where this ignorance derives from. It's not a slur at anyone in particular. We all are ignorant in our own ways. It's AJ. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and
Namaste.
I have a serious conflict of interest. This man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Oh.